Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. Welcome back to Mixtape Monday Tarot. So if you're new here, welcome. I've seen some new subscribers showing up. If you've been here for a while, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for stopping by. We are coming to you from the middle of a full-blown nor'easter blizzard here. It's 4:05 on Sunday, February 22nd. It is snowing outside a little bit. We're getting like a cross section. It's kind of wild. I've got my charged water. I've got my Jersey Devil shirt on. We are cozy, grounded, focused, and here for positive creation. It's really the point of this channel. It's exactly the energy of today, and I want you to take that with you, whether you are in a sunny place in the world or if you are in the tri-state area like us, getting ready for an up to 30 inches of snow, possibly 30 inches of snow. So we will be right back. My friends. So before we get started, I do want to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing today. So I have on my Scorpio Strength set, and this is from Otter Spirit. It is one of the companies that I partner with. I love this company. They have a great mission statement. They support otters in Monterey Bay. $1 from every purchase goes toward them. But it is an energetic jewelry company. So if you want to raise your vibration really, really quickly, you can get some of this good. So Scorpio energy is about resilience. It's about transformation, and it's about power that does not need to shout. It simply is. There is in this there is an obsidian component to this as an obsidian sphere, also from Otter Spirit. So one of the reasons why I am so keen on this sphere that they gifted me is because it does send the energy out in all directions. Wearing the Otter Spirit energetic jewelry, every time I shuffle the cards, every time I move my hand, it does spark up some more energy from it. The Scorpio energy is very resilient and grounding. This on my table has been awesome. Not only is it boosting my scrying skills, you guys have seen in some of my videos, I've been scrying with it on camera live, which I never thought I would be doing, but it also is sending out this very grounding energy all around the studio and into Greg's art studio right next to me. So I think this sphere is one of the greatest things that came into my life. I highly recommend that you guys get one. If you are interested in any of the Otter Spirit pieces, you can go use the link in the description here. That'll let them know that I sent you over. You can use the codes Fortune20 for 20% off any purchase. You can use Fortune30 for orders above $99. I love partnering with this brand because they're intentional. They're energetically aligned with boosting the best in you. So absolutely give them a shot if you can, if you're interested, if you want to get some jewelry, if you want to get some gifts, it's fantastic. I got my daughter the daughter set for Christmas and she really loved it. And we kind of mix it up. I've got a whole collection up there of Otter Spirit bracelets and I like to mix them up. But today I went straight with the Scorpio Strength pack. So since we're going to be snowed in for the next couple of days, I don't know, we'll find out. We're down here in the suburbs. Let's see how fast they plow us out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be available on Hypsee all day today. Today, again, is Sunday. You guys are getting this tomorrow morning. And I will be open for business all day tomorrow. I'll be doing content throughout. But I'll be there for private readings. You can also schedule readings there as well. You can also order recorded readings. So if you want to come see me, come and see me on Hypsee, or you can schedule through my Calendly link. That is the old traditional link for scheduled appointments. So either or, it doesn't make a difference. I've actually price matched on both sides, except Hypsee does have a lot of welcome incentives for first-time users, return clients, scheduled appointments. They do have percent taken off. So there's a whole bunch of links down below. Shop, do what you can. If you get confused, you can email me at fortunecookiestarot@gmail.com. So now, for those of you that are new to my channel, Mixtape Tarot is where you guys drive the topics. So I take the questions from chat on my other videos. I don't necessarily take it from the old live chat videos unless you guys have emailed me, but this is where you guys drive the content. My content is 100% driven by recommendations and suggestions from you, the viewership. I want to make sure you get the most bang for your time buck. I know there's a lot of creators on here. This is the largest streaming platform in the world, and you have a lot of choices where you can go, and I appreciate that you are here. So Mixtape Monday, it is super fun. It's interactive, it's intuitive, but it's always interesting because you guys have some crazy questions. So here on this channel, we focus on insight, empowerment, good decision making, changing the path that you're on if you're going in a not so great direction. That is the energy today. That was the energy yesterday, and that will be the energy tomorrow. My purpose is to put some good out there in the world. So let's throw some cards. First one that I got, I did a reading on Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid, seeing if they were truly compatible. I got some interesting stuff on that. Go check that out. It is in a playlist someplace. It's in some of my videos from last week. So user PI8FW6DL8W wants to know, are they really engaged? Did we hear any reports on this? So are they really engaged? Two of Wands in reverse. That's a maybe not so. Maybe they are just kind of wiggling around the edges. The Hermit, the Sun, they're talking about it, guys. If they're not actually engaged, if she doesn't actually have the ring on her hand, they are talking about it. So it is quite serious. So good for them. Great question. Glad you asked it. So this is a cool one from Rita S. The rumor is that this in regard to Meghan Markle and the Virginia Giuffre, I guess it was threat that they were going to call her up to testify. The rumor is that her lawyer was scared they would lose the case, Virginia Giuffre, and he put out in the media about maybe calling Meghan Markle to give evidence. He knew this would force the royals into settling, as the Queen couldn't face another scandal that may have also included Meghan Markle. Great question. I'm here to take it apart. So let's giddy up. Did they settle because they were concerned that Meghan would be called to testify? Did they fall for it? Miss Rita, I think you're onto something here, hon. Karma, Page of Cups, and the World. They did think that payoff was going to end the trouble. Thought it was going to end the trouble. This karma card, little bit different from some of the other cards. This is all things coming together. all things coming together and the chickens coming home to roost and scales being balanced. So we are seeing that death card in reverse. They certainly did not want to have any more transformations. We got a jump out card. There's the sun. They were afraid of the little leaks that were coming out. So I'm going to say it. Yeah, I do think that they were concerned about what was going on. Did the Queen know that there was any information about Meghan Markle involved in that whole thing? Did the Queen know? Did the Queen know? She was concerned that there was some misadventure there, perhaps on the climb up. I think the Queen is all too aware of how actresses do conduct themselves sometimes, and not vilifying the late, great Marilyn Monroe, but Marilyn Monroe did not follow protocol when she went to meet the Queen. When she had an audience with the Queen, she had décolletage out for days. So, yes, the Queen was concerned that there was some sketch behavior, but she said she's now a member of the royal retinue. She's part of the royal family. And this is her fresh new start. We're not going to let those decisions affect her in the past, which is very different from the attitude toward Koo Stark when Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was dating her. Very, very different response. So I think the Queen was doing Meghan a solid in this moment, I think. So with this situation, was the Queen protecting Meghan or Andrew more? Meghan, Andrew. So I think she was protecting Andrew more. Like, God only knows what else is going to come out. And I said the other day in my reading that I do think that the Queen kept herself plausible deniability. She didn't know the whole story, and she didn't want to know the whole story. But I do think that Daddy-O Prince Philip, Phil the Greek, I think Phil the Greek knew a lot more and was like, dang it, what is this boy doing? So I think it was more to help Andrew than it was for Meghan. I really think that the Queen thought that Meghan was going to get a whole new world, a whole new life entering the royal family. I think they really did have a lot of mechanisms put into place for her to have a whole new existence. So it's unfortunate. I really hope that this doesn't affect the Queen's legacy. I really do hope that. We have another regular in the comments, Sophie Kent. I love you, Sophie Kent. You're always here. You're always here. So let's get to Sophie's question. She said, why did Queen Elizabeth protect Andrew so much? So we're going to pull one card. I'm going to show you guys a little tarot lesson. One card. We're going to get the whole story from one card. The High Priestess. So talk about the High Priestess a little bit. Love this gal. So the High Priestess is the guardian of the waters of the unknown. You can see behind her, if I can get the glare to stop. Behind her, there is a body of water. You can't really see it that clearly here, but she has the pillars behind her, right and wrong, black and white, everything very, very simple. But we also have the phases of the moon. We are not affected as much by the phases and grades of moon here. So I want you to think the High Priestess knows right and wrong. She knows the difference between the two, but she also has an appreciation for the phases of the moon. So she understands that right and wrong sometimes has a little bit of a different weight. Perhaps if you are part of a microculture like the royal family, some things may be forgiven. I've talked about this with individuals that go to war. The morality in a wartime situation is very different from morality, walking around, regular day, going to the convenience store and picking up a coffee and a pack of cigarettes. It's very different. When you are in a life and death situation in war, your morality is not the same that it would be if you went to go see your kid's recital at the dance school. It's just not. Can't identify with it. I have not been to war. I cannot speak. I will give an opinion, but I can't condemn anyone that has been in that situation for any of their behaviors that they did when they were there. What's done in war should stay in war, in my opinion. So that was a very broad statement. But so the high priestess here says, we know and this is why the queen protected Andrew so much. We know the difference between right and wrong, but all's not fair for everyone. We have a reputation to uphold. We are the example of good living and good manners and good behavior. And so we do have to protect this because it can affect the rest of the family, and it can have an effect on the effectiveness or the efficacy of the work that we do. So what do I think the queen did here? I think the queen said, we have to bend the rules a little bit. I think she said, we have to bend the rules a little bit and just ostrich it up. Get rid of this story. Take care of it. Tra-la-la into the future. The rest of us can continue to do what we do. The high priestess is what I term the ethereal mother of the major arcana. The Empress is the terrestrial mama. She is the one that cares and advises and births the fool out into the physical world, hands him over to the emperor and the empress to raise up. This is a much higher thinking mother. This is the mother of the British people. This is the mother of all. And in this moment, she said, we have to deal with this so that the leadership, the moral compass that the royal family provides is not affected by it. They tried to sweep this under the carpet, unfortunately, not realizing the way that information travels in the 21st century. So why didn't she listen to any complaints about his behavior? One card. The Lovers in reverse. She did not want to believe it. No one wants to imagine their parent or their child in Congress, if you know what I mean. And I think she just really didn't want to believe it. I think she really thought he was like a garden variety kind of playboy, just having fun, going to the buffet and tra-la-laing through life. I don't think she wanted to think that there was anything really and truly awful going on, like the story that we're hearing circulate about the young lady who lost her life, possibly due to some kind of apparatus. I'm being very careful about my language here. So she didn't want to believe it. And I think those of us that have parents or those of us that have children have all had this moment where someone says, I want to talk to you about your child. And you go, oh God, what did they do? Like, what happened? Some of us are living on a different level where they say, that's impossible. Not my child. I myself am not that parent, like I am not a not my child parent. What did he do? What did they do? What happened? So I think she really, the Andrew that she knows or knew did not match the Andrew that was being reported to her. So I think she really was. Did Andrew kind of snow her sometimes? Ace of Cups. They all just don't like me. They're jealous of me. They're jealous of me. They're jealous that I have all this power and privilege and a ginger wife, and they just don't like me. So that was it, a little crybaby soup from him. So was there manipulation going on? Yeah, I think he manipulated his mama a little bit. By a lot of accounts, he was the favored child, despite not being the heir. And I think that he did manipulate the queen just a bit, a little bit. But great question, Sophie Kent. Love it when you show up in my chats. Thanks so much, honey. So we have another question from Jane Jordan. Jane Jordan, and this one I like. So Jane Jordan wants to know, it is an Epstein file related question, but she says Deepak Chopra, and it doesn't look good. So Deepak Chopra had some emails that were between 2011 I'm sorry, 2016 and 2018. So a very short period of time. They showed informal but sometimes explicit exchanges between Chopra and Epstein, including references to cute girls. They did talk about some public figures. And let's see what's up with that, because Jane says, I knew a lot of people. So she used to promote Deepak's live events in the late 90s. And she said she even went to India with him. And if anyone ever asked me, I always said he was the real deal. What you see is what you get. I knew a lot of people back then in the transformational movement, promoted many. And I knew that what you saw was not necessarily what you got. But not Deepak. I feel so stupid I didn't say it. What can you tell me about this? So let's see, because Deepak Chopra is fairly successful. So I'm not surprised if he has some dealings with a financial person. Let's see what we got. Let's get the essence of Deepak Chopra. Essence of him. Four of Pentacles in the current moment, very, very exposed, does not have everything held down. Page of Swords, he is trying to figure out how to respond to this. Was he, as my friend Alicia says, a dirty bird? A dirty bird. Was he a dirty bird in all of this? 10 of Wands, 8 of Swords, 5 of Wands. I'm going to say this. I don't think that he was technically involved the way that some others may be involved in this whole Epstein thing. If you saw, I did a reading on Britney Spears about her being in the Epstein files as well. And I think that she was contacted, given an opportunity to have respite on Epstein's Island. I think she blew it off because it just seemed like some older dude she didn't want to hang out with. She wants to hang out with the young and pretty guys. So I think Deepak was given an opportunity for respite there. Epstein Island, the whole Epstein world. I don't necessarily think he went, but I think in that moment, he let his guard down. Don't be surprised if we don't see him PR campaigning in response to this. And I think that he will. What is my advice, since it looks like he is not a dirty bird? What is my advice for him? 9 of Pentacles, full disclosure. 3 of Cups, admit where you were wrong. Queen of Wands, show that your life is not a quest of looking for cheap young love. That's really, sometimes people are characterized as things that they're not. And I think this is an occasion that an individual is being characterized as something that they are not, entirely through very, very small communication. So I hope I'm right on this, because he does have an incredible body of work. We'll see if more comes out, but I think that his interactions with Epstein, again, like it's only a 2-year period. I don't think that it's what people are trying to make it out to be. So at this moment, How will he pull through the Six of Wands? He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. So, interesting question. I like that, Jane. Thank you so much. Very good. Very good. So I have another question from Heather, but it was more of a statement. We were talking about, it was in response to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce numerology. I did that for the beginning of the year. And I guess I replied to like Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. I guess I had some analogy in there. And Heather said, Joe adored Marilyn, but it's reported that her not okay. So I want to take a look at that because we've long heard that he was that Joe DiMaggio was a bit domineering. I have to be very careful with my language because YouTube is being very careful about language right now. A bit domineering. So is that true? Is that true? Did Joe DiMaggio get domineering? I'm not being polite. I'm being careful with my channel here. Did he get domineering with Marilyn Monroe? And psychically, I'm getting yes. Temperance, yes. He lost his balance there. Lost his balance. Is that why she filed for divorce? Yeah, she wanted to kind of restart. Knight of Wands. You know, Joe DiMaggio being Italian, we're very passionate people. We are very, very passionate people. Sometimes we yell. Sometimes we yell at our spouses. Sometimes we yell at our kids. Sometimes we yell because our sauce came out so good. Mamma mia, it's amazing. I think I'm going to make a lasagna tomorrow. So maybe tapping into that Italian side tomorrow. I'm making an amazing lasagna with my own pasta sheets. Make them from scratch because there's more protein in them if you make them from scratch. But I think, yeah. And I think that that was the occasion at which she said, I'm going to file for divorce from him. I'm not going to stay with him. There is a rumor that she continued to speak to Joe DiMaggio Jr. She even spoke to him, I believe, the night of her demise. Joe's son from another relationship. Famously, Joe DiMaggio sent roses once a week to her grave until he died. And on his deathbed, he said, I finally get to see Marilyn, which is, wow. What a last thing to say. What a thing to go out to. Were they attempting any kind of reconciliation? Four of Wands, people. Four of Wands. Fortune Cookies Tarot. They were going to reconcile. There was going to be some kind of a building momentum there. Now, remember, when we're talking about the Four of Wands, even though the Four of Wands is the chuppah and it is the ceremony card, the marriage card, even though it's all of those things, this is also foundations built. So there was one point where Marilyn was in care of an asylum, a mental asylum, and Joe was the one who got her out of there. It was, you know, she signed herself in allegedly, and or according to my sources, and it just wasn't what she expected it to be. I believe this was the place that had wrapped her in the cold sheets. They would restrain you and like kind of put you in like a papoose, and you know, I do think that there was some electric shock things going on, but I may be wrong on that. I may have her mixed up with Jackie Kennedy, who was also put into a wellness camp by her husband. Four of Wands. Did he want to marry her again? Absolutely. King of Cups. Absolutely. Did she want to marry him again? Temperance in reverse. There we go. Temperance in reverse. She had reservations, guys. Reservations about getting back together. Let's do a little fun alternate timeline. Had Marilyn Monroe let Joe DiMaggio back into her life, could she have avoided the fate that we know in this timeline? Let's see. Had she let him back in, Ace of Swords would have been a new start. High Priestess in reverse. Two of Pentacles. They still would have been on different trajectories. Three of Wands. I don't know if it would have worked, guys. I do think that Marilyn would have become a different kind of contributor to Hollywood. She was creating her own movie house, production house, film company. And I think that with Joe, that potentially could have moved bigger and faster and been a more interesting incarnation than it was. I think that possibly would have happened. However, shadow side, Eight of Swords, Five of Wands. I think she knew what she knew. And I don't think she did it herself. I don't think she did it herself. I don't think Virginia Giuffre did it herself either. And I think that potentially Joe would have been taken away with her, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. I think Joe would have been taken away as well, and possibly created to make it look like maybe he had something to do with it. That would have tied up a lot of loose ends. You know, a little, instead of just her, it would have been someone did that, and then, you know, little Star 80 action, if you know the Dorothy Stratton story. So very, very interesting. I think the wheels of motion, the wheels in motion of her demise were set much earlier in that particular timeline. I think getting together with Joe would have just been another complication. So that's what I think about that. So this is an interesting question. It's in response to my Timeline Thursday special, The Fall of the Houses of York and Sussex. It's a 3-part series that I put out to celebrate the Timeline Thursdays that I've been doing. Yugid, I'm saying Yugid, Yugid, says this. Hi, Annabelle. I really enjoy your channel. I'm wondering if the timeline shifts when Princess Kate announced her cancer diagnosis. So just a real quick word on this. The timeline shifts with actions, just so you guys know. So yes, a timeline can shift when she chose to announce the diagnosis. Also, timeline shifts when we choose to get engaged, we choose to break up, we choose to pick this puppy, not that puppy. So let's see, did the timeline shift for Catherine, Princess of Wales? Did the timeline shift when she opted to reveal her cancer diagnosis? And psychically, I'm getting it was prior to that. So we'll get to that in just a second because I want the cards to prove it. I couldn't even shuffle those. Did the timeline shift? 6 of Pentacles, no. And it was the response to what happened prior. So what happened prior? There were people, and we heard them. We heard them. I heard them. You know, so many people said to me, "Oh, she's already off the earth plane. She's already this, that, or the other thing." And there was an ambulance that, you know, Windsor was the middle of the night. And William has a short fuse. And you know, all of this silliness. And, you know, I did pull a card once. Somebody asked if she was cloned, and I pulled the card. And I got yes. But we have to be careful about how we answer or ask questions in tarot, because is this a different incarnation of Catherine, the Princess of Wales? Yes, I do think that it is. And I talk about this all the time. Like every 7 years, all our cellular structures change, our personal relationships change, our responses to our relationships change. And I do think that at some point, she, you know, we mature, we evolve as we go down the road. If you're not changing, you're not doing things right. So I do think that there was information that was out there. People were very hard at work setting the narrative. And I think that she chose to announce that cancer diagnosis to allow people to peek into her life. Did it change that timeline shift? Did it change her timeline? Did it shift her timeline by doing that? Did it shift her timeline? Knight of Pentacles, no. Seven of Cups. There were other opportunities for her to change timelines. You know, I do think that her tenure with cancer was, you know, the body forces us to slow down sometimes. The body forces us to take care. And energetically, sometimes some very interesting things happen. So one of the things, and I noted this personally to another friend in the spiritual community, I keep cutting my fingers and my thumbs. You guys remember when I was debuting the Cottage Magic Tarot, I had gotten a couple of paper cuts from it. Trevor cut my finger the other day. He ran across my hand. I got a big gash in it. I cut my index finger twice, almost in the same spot. You know, food prepping. And I was like, what is going on here? I've been smacking my hands into things when I'm reaching out. I'm misjudging. And I was like, oh, I'm misjudging because I don't have my glasses on. But, you know, metaphysically, sometimes we are reaching out for things and we get our hands slapped. And it says, don't do that. Don't, you know, stop reaching in that direction. And I think that was the message for me. Now, Catherine, like, no one deserves to, you know, get cancer. No one deserves that. Louise Hay did think that cancer was harboring resentment, and, you know, that resentment will build. You know, it's vile and terrible, and it will build in you. And I think that with all of the kerfuffle going on in the royal family, I think the sorrow of losing Queen Elizabeth, who by all accounts, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was very close to her and was very much in awe of her queen. With the king getting sick and then her getting, I think it was all just too much. And I do think that there was a lot of reliance in terms of PR. She's very pretty. She's very statuesque. She looks great and everything. They could put anything on her. She's going to look beautiful. I think that there was a lot of reliance put on her. And I think her body said, we need a break. We gotta go rest for a little while. And that is something that can happen. Did it change the timeline for her life? I think the cancer shows up as a timeline change for her. Did the announcement change the timeline? No, I think she still had to go through this process. I think it was still a lesson in learning her own amount of temperance, where she can find a balance, work-life balance, personal and business life balance, children-husband balance, pets and children balance. You know, we all have to balance that. And I, you know, over the last few weeks, I've been referring a lot of people to the book, The Pie Life, which is about, it's written for women by a woman, helping you kind of balance your professional career and your family and your altruistic endeavors and all of those things. So fantastic book if you are struggling with work-life balance, trying to get your ducks in a row. But so I think that, you know, the timeline shift for Catherine is not necessarily at the announcement. I do want to look at another period of her life, though, as a timeline shift. So let's take a look at Catherine the boss, who stepped up to Meghan Markle. You can just see it when they did the walkabout after the Queen's passing. So for those of you that don't remember, Meghan Markle got out of one side of the car and Catherine literally steps forward, and you just see that one shoulder go forward. And Meghan like turns around, kind of scuttles back, and then pulls all her hair to one side, and like starts waving to the crowd. And I think that was a timeline shift. I think that was something that we should unpack. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. When Meghan stepped up, or when Catherine stepped up on Meghan at the walkabout, was that a timeline shift? Was that an energy shift? I felt it. I don't know if you guys felt it. I felt it. Was it an energy shift? Boom, the moon. So psychic attacks. Let's talk about psychic attacks. So, you know, there are some people that when they step into a room, like people call it Riz, the kids call it Riz, charisma, they just have a presence. There are some people that step in and they can moderate, regulate, change the environment of the room. In this moment where Catherine stepped up and just kind of rolled up on Meghan Markle, she changed the vibe of the room. I know they weren't in a room, but she changed the vibe of the room. She, in that moment, stepped into her power. 5 of Swords. She ended the fight and she deflated the strength of the other party, Meghan Markle. And she also set a message across to Meghan Markle that I'm not weak in this moment. I am not in a weakened state. Some people like to take advantage of people when they are in a weakened state, when maybe they're recovering from something, or they are in grief or something like that. Some people like to do that, and that's a terrible thing. I think in this moment, Catherine did the opposite and said, I am as strong. I take into me the strength of Queen Elizabeth, and I will wield it. I will wield that power. And you know, we all know that Catherine didn't get to go to the Queen's bedside because Meghan couldn't go. It was like a whole thing. Did that change our timeline? Indeed, changed timeline and gave us many, many, many other options. The one thing it did, and for those of you that are manifesting or trying to jump timelines, it emboldened Catherine, the Princess of Wales. It emboldened her. But I think more so Queen Elizabeth lends her some strength, lends her some spirit from beyond, and helps her navigate through the world in which she must, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and to navigate the individuals like Meghan Markle that are going to come up. Because let's face it, Meghan Markle is not the only El Guapo in Catherine's life. That, you know, everyone has their own personal El Guapo. What's your El Guapo? That's from The Three Amigos, if you don't know the movie. Yes. Oh, I thought you were upstairs. Is that Angus that's home? Wunderbar. So we will be checking on the storm in just a moment. So guys, I think I am going to leave it there. I think that's going to be it for Mixtape Monday. 44 minutes. I think we did enough. I want to be respectful of your time. I want you guys to get out there and enjoy your day. So you are going to see this on Monday morning, and providing we haven't had a full electrical shutdown, hopefully we won't, because we are having a nor'easter. We don't have a generator at the house, and this is blizzard conditions, so we could have high winds and all kinds of crazy stuff. So hopefully we are still going to be here living it up, La Vida Loca in the snowstorm. But if you want, I will be live on Hypsee. More than happy to see new faces, old faces, anything like that. I won't be live until Friday. So come on back on Friday, and we are going to have our members only live, and then we will have our tarot happy hour, which we relaunched last weekend to great success. Everyone had a lot of fun. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. So I will see you guys in the future. Keep the questions coming in this video and other videos. Go over, get yourself some Otter Spirit stuff, and come visit me either on Hypsee or Calendly. I am here to help you live your best life. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the future.